Ayo, what's poppin', folks? We're diving into some Final Fantasy X vibes today. And let me tell you, we're about to roast one of the most pointless overdrive modes in the game, Hero Mode. Yeah, you heard me right. This mode is so whack, you'll never ever have to use it. Like, who even thought this was a good idea anyway? Strap in, cause we're about to go deep into the world of overdrive modes in Final Fantasy X. And today we're talking about the so-called Hero Mode. If you're expecting some epic game-changing moves here, let me save you some time, homie. This ain't it. In my humble opinion, Hero Mode is hands down one of the worst modes in the game. For real. It is so trash you could finish the entire game and platinum it without even touching this overdrive mode. So if you're ready for some real talk and good laughs at this pitiful excuse of an overdrive, keep it locked right here. We're about to break it all down for you. Alright y'all, so here's the deal. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what Hero Mode is all about and how you can unlock this so-called overdrives. And spoiler alert, it ain't worth your time, but we're going to go through it anyway so you know what's up. We'll cover all the details, like what this mode does and how it's supposed to make your characters feel like a hero, and why it totally misses the mark. By the end of this video, you'll see why Hero Mode is basically useless. Once you peep what it does, you'll realize there's no point in wasting your time in with it. You would easily replace it with a more superior overdrive that actually helps you in the game. Okay, let's break this down, this so-called Hero Mode. This overdrive mode charges your overdrive gauge every time you defeat a powerful enemy. Now, we're not talking about your average run-of-the-mill fiends here. We're talking about enemies with 10,000 HP or more.
What did he say?
You can start finding these beefy foes as early as Mount Gagazet. Think of things like the Behemoth, Maelspike, or the Mandragora in Mount Gagazet. They all got that beefy HP, but here's the kicker. The charge rate for the Hero Mode is only 20%. Yeah, you heard me right, just 20%. And remember, to get that measly 20%, you gotta take down an enemy with 10,000 HP or more. So, a 20% charge to your overdrive gauge for defeating a high HP enemy, you be the judge on whether that's worth it or not. As you progress through the game, you're naturally gonna run into some enemies with that much HP, especially in places like the Omega Ruins and Inside Sin. If you're really trying to make Hero Mode work for you for some reason, the best bet is to grind against the fiends on Mount Gagazet that I mentioned earlier. So the gist of Hero Mode is to defeat enemies with 10,000 HP or more to charge your overdrive. But hold up, this overdrive mode has a hidden prerequisite that even some of us OG Final Fantasy X players might have missed. Don't worry, we'll get into that later in the video. Just keep in mind that 10,000 HP threshold that I mentioned earlier. Alright, so let's keep moving. Let's talk about how to unlock this Hero Mode. If for some reason you still want to go for it, here's what you need to do. Defeat a set number of enemies that meet the HP requirement of 10,000 HP or more. But hold up, it ain't the same for everybody. So here's the rundown for each character, homie. Titus needs to defeat 50 enemies. Yuna needs to defeat 50 enemies. Wakka needs to defeat 50 enemies. Lulu needs to defeat 70 enemies. Kamari needs to defeat 45 enemies. Auron needs to defeat 40 enemies. Last but not least, Riku needs to defeat 50 enemies. So, if you want to unlock Hero Mode for any of these characters, you gotta get to work. But remember that hidden prerequisite I mentioned earlier? Here's where things get a little wild and crazy, man. I mean, it is ridiculous sometimes, now that I think about it. You can unlock Hero Mode just by defeating those 10,000 HP enemies. But there is another way you can learn and charge this overdrive that ain't so obvious. Let me break it down for you. Your overdrive gauge can also fill up based on the damage you deal compared to the enemy's HP. Basically, if the enemy you're fighting has at least 20 times more HP than the damage you're dealing, you can still learn and use the Hero Overdrive set mode. I know it sounds kind of confusing, but check it. You can also learn this mode by fighting enemies with 20 times more HP than the damage you're dealing. Let's say Orin, for an example, is out here dealing around 1200 damage on average, okay? For hero mode to trigger, you need to defeat an enemy with at least 24,000 HP or more. So that's the trick. You either go for those enemies with 10,000 HP or more, or you can start early and aim for those enemies with 20 times more HP than the damage you deal. So there you have it. Unlocking hero mode can be a grind, but now you know all the ins and outs. Let's keep it going and talk about why you probably won't even bother using this trash, weak, pathetic overdrive mode, man. I mean, it is crazy of all the things this hero mode brings. Alright fam, it's time to get real about the Hero Overdrive set mode and why it's garbage compared to its big brother, the Slayer Overdrive set mode. Let's dive into this cause I gotta put y'all on game on why hero mode just ain't worth it. First off, hero mode requires you to defeat enemies with 10,000 or more HP to get that measly 20% charge to your overdrive gauge. I mean, come on man. You gotta go through the trouble of finding these high HP enemies, which takes a lot of time and effort. Not only that, but you gotta actually take them down, which can be a hassle sometimes, especially if you're not hitting hard enough. You're basically out here grinding like crazy for a tiny reward, and that just don't make any sense to me, man. So don't even waste your time even doing this. Now let's talk about Slayer mode. This overdrive mode is the real MVP, and here's why. Slayer mode gives you a 20% charge to your overdrive gauge every time you defeat an enemy, period. It doesn't matter if the enemy has 10 HP or 10,000 HP or 100,000 HP. You'll knock them out, you'll get that charge, easy peasy, no hassle. This means you can keep fighting an enemy you come across and still be filling up your gauge, making it more practical and efficient in every battle situation. So let's compare them side by side. With hero mode, you're forced to hunt down beefy enemies, waste time and energy, and potentially get your squad messed up just to get the same 20% charge. Meanwhile, with Slayer mode, you can be out here slaying the same thing as much as you want, however many you want, that you come across in your way, big or small, and rack up that overdrive meter with ease. No stress, no unnecessary grinding, just straight up action. And let's be honest, in a game like Final Fantasy X, where you want to keep things moving and staying on top of your enemies, making a mode like Slayer mode that rewards you for every KO is just a way more valuable. You don't gotta worry about finding specific enemies or meeting some high HP requirement. All you gotta do is just go out there doing your thing, beating down enemies, and your overdrive gauge will constantly charge. So bottom line, hero mode is a terrible overdrive compared to the Slayer overdrive mode. It's way too restrictive, making you jump through hoops just to get the same benefit that Slayer mode gives you for every enemy you defeat. It's a no-brainer which one you should be rocking. Slayer mode keeps your overdrive gauge on full blast without any of the nonsense, while hero mode drags you down with unnecessary requirements. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time with this, man. Stick with the Slayer overdrive mode and keep it moving. Alright y'all, that wraps up on why hero mode just ain't it. Now I hope I've saved you some time and frustration on when it comes to choosing your overdrive modes in Final Fantasy X. Remember, we're all about playing smart, not hard, and Slayer mode is the clear winner here. But hey, before we go, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I might not be the best Final Fantasy X player out there, But I got mad love for this game and all the crazy ways you can be creative and overpowered in it. That makes it so fun to play and share it with each and every one of you. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more tips and tricks and deep dives into the world of Final Fantasy X and other dope games, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. I drop new content regularly. You don't want to miss out on what's going on the channel. Drop a comment below and let me know what Overdrive mode you think is the best, or if there's another topic you love for me to cover. Your feedback keeps this channel growing and I appreciate all the support. Thanks again for hanging out with me today, and keep it locked in on the channel for more gaming goodness. I'll catch y'all later on the next one. Peace out, homie. The retro era. Yes, sir.